Welcome back, investigators, to a cynically awesome playthrough of Arkham Horror, the card game The Dunwich Legacy. Today's scenario is Undimensioned and Unseen. Your search of the village of Dunwich has uncovered a number of documents, journal entries, and esoteric theories. Reading through these materials leaves you exhausted and emotionally drained. Most of the content was written by a single source, a man named Seth Bishop. When you ask around town, you learn that Seth is a citizen of Dunwich. Along with several others, Seth had witnessed firsthand the devastation wrought by the events of the Dunwich Horror, as Armitage had dubbed the incident. Curiously, since that time, very few people had seen Seth around town, and those who did claimed his eyes had been bloodshot and his face sweaty and pale. You don't doubt that somebody who had seen what Seth had seen would appear nervous or paranoid, but the more you read of his frantic and unhinged writings, the more you believe he is involved in recent events. His writings speak of having gathered the remains, and of using arcane methods to imbue the Father's essence into other creatures, and eventually into other people. The explanations and diagrams that follow are unfathomably complex and defy understanding. Before you are able to find Seth and confront him, several men and women from the village approach you in a panic. "It's back," one of them wails. You recognize him as Curtis Watley of the Undecayed branch. "Whatever it was that killed them fries is back, up and smashed the bishop's home like it were made of paper." Curtis and the townsfolk are clamoring amongst themselves, raising their voices in a panic. The investigators must decide. Do you try to calm down the townsfolk in order to learn more, or do you try to warn the townsfolk and convince them to evacuate? I will warn them. You warn the townsfolk that they are in grave danger and urge them to flee Dunwich while they can. Several of them immediately heed your advice, remembering the terrible monstrosity that had previously endangered the town. Curtis drops to his knees in despair, sweating feverishly. "It's that thing again, ain't it? It's come back for us." Curtis stutters. "I hope you got some of that powder the old professor had last time. We couldn't even see the damn thing until he sprayed it. To this day, I wish I hadn't seen it at all." Something must be done to stop the monster's rampage, but if the documents you found are true, there may be more than one such creature on the loose. Rampaging creatures. Reports of terrifying entities wreaking havoc across the countryside have caused the citizens of Dunwich to panic. Worse, the creatures seem to be invisible to the naked eye. Forced, at the end of the enemy phase, move each brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy toward a random location. Sarcenic script. The monsters tearing through Dunwich country are immune to traditional weapons. Only by reciting a particular incantation can the creatures be defeated. First, you must search the ruins of Wilbur Watley's home in order to find the final sections of the otherworldly script. Objective: only investigators at Watley Ruins may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. And we start at the village of Dunwich. It is always a relief to get clear of the place and to follow the narrow road around the base of the hills and across the level country beyond till it rejoins the Aylesbury Pike. Afterward, one sometimes learns that one has been through Dunwich. As an action, you can reside. You hide from the creatures. As an incidental, you borrow some hounds to track the creatures by scent. An investigator in Dunwich Village may place one of his or her clues on any abomination enemy in play. Group limit once per game. Okay. And this only gets one flat clue, regardless of the number of players. Alright, so in this setup, a few things happened. One, I have a brood of Yogg-Sothoth here, so let's take a look at him. He's a monster abomination, 6 might, 1 health, and 3 agility. But he's massive, and he gets +1 health per investigator and cannot be damaged or attacked except by using the ability on the esoteric formula, which is not here. I believe there's a chance of putting it out of business. He's worth a victory point, and he does 2 damage per. Now, in the last scenario, I got the Powder of Ibn Ghazi. And in the setup, it said I was allowed to pull this out of my deck and place it near me. Kind of like a permanent card. So So let's remind ourselves of what it is. Powder of Benghazi enters play with X clues on it, where X is the number of characters who survived the Dunwich legacy in my campaign. That was 3. Move 1 clue from the Powder of Benghazi to an exhausted brood of Yogg-Sothoth at your location. Okay, so there's a mechanic here of putting clues on broods, but I don't fully understand the mechanic yet until more is discovered. So we have 1 brood here, and because I let 3 people die, there are 2 more out of play. My starting hand is a bunch of skill cards as usual, and now I'm really starting to regret how I built my deck. I think for my first action, I'll play Professor Warren Rice. He is an ally that gives me +1 investigation. And I can draw a card after discovering the last clue on a location by exhausting him. I don't think I'll need that right now, because for my second action, I will play Pantalone. When it enters play, I get to draw 2 cards. 1, 2. These are fine. And for my last action, I will attempt to investigate Dunwich Village. Now my investigation is now 4, thanks to Professor Warren Rice, and I'll bump it up to 6 versus 3. And I get +1. So that is a successful investigation. I'll take that for myself. I'll activate Warren Rice by exhausting him and drawing a card. And I get to draw an additional card thanks to Perception because I was successful in my attempt. So this is actually a really great start for me because Zebulon Watley here is another one of my allies who gives me +1 will. So not great, but he is another mute shield for me. And thanks to the new permanent that I acquired, Charisma, I can have 2 allies with me as opposed to just the 1. My other permanents here are adaptable and streetwise. And also, something else I should mention that happened during the setup. During the setup of this scenario, I had to add another weakness into my deck. Even though I've been having a pretty great run over the course of the game, things will get progressively harder. But otherwise, that is my turn. During the enemy phase, the hunters will hunt, but the brood is not a hunter, although at the end of the enemy phase, it's going to have to move once towards a random location. Now the way that wants you to do that is by taking the other 6 copies of the locations that we have here in play, shuffling them and drawing them at random. I don't trust myself to shuffle those well enough and draw randomly, so I'm just going to use a dice because there are 6 locations here, and so it works out perfectly. And the way I'm going to do it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 every time. So let's see where it goes. 3, 1, 2, 3. And that is a legitimate location that it could go to. Now it's massive, so it doesn't engage with me, but it is counted as though it's engaged. So I could hit it if I wanted to. But we'll do our upkeep, gain our resources, draw our cards, vicious blow, great, except I can't hit this thing. You know, it always seems to be the case that I have all these very strong attacking cards and damaging cards, but I can't actually hurt the things that I want to hurt. But at the start of a new round, 1 doom and 1 encounter. If there are no abomination enemies in play, this gains surge. Otherwise, choose an abomination enemy, heal all damage from that enemy, and attach this card to it. Force, whenever you enter the attached enemy's location or vice versa, take 1 horror. Alright, so it's not the worst thing yet, but I will have to deal with that at some point because I can't hurt this thing now and I need to discover how I can hurt this thing. So that means I need to avoid this thing right now. So I'll attempt an evade, and I have manual dexterity here, and I'm gonna get rid of my cat burglar. Maybe. It's versus 3, so I have 3, 4, 5, and I can make it 6. So I'll make it 6. versus 3. -3, 3 versus 3, and I pass. So that's avoided, and he won't hurt me. So I get to move. I have the options to moving to one of these 3 locations. I'll go to the 10-acre meadow because it seems the safest. The trees of the freaking forest belt seem too large, and the wild weeds, brambles, and grasses attain a luxuriance not often found in settled regions. At the same time, the planted fields appear singularly few and barren. As an incidental, you set bait using a live animal. Each investigator in the 10-acre meadow may place one of his or her clues on an abomination enemy in the 10-acre meadow. Group limit once per game. Alright, in this location we'll get 3 clues. So I still do need one of these clues. And I've used up 2 of my actions. Oh, and I forgot, because I was successful with manual dexterity, I'll draw a card. So why not? For my 3rd action, I will attempt to investigate. My investigation is 4 versus 2. I'll just do it like that, even though I have the option of using some good cards here. I'm going to save them. -2. Another perfect tie, and that is mine. So now I have enough clues to activate, or to advance the act here. But I don't think I'll need to. So, enemy phase, he would move, but I don't think he'll even move thanks to the agenda here, because he is exhausted. So I'm not going to move him, because it's during the upkeep that he would unexhaust. I'll get my resources and draw my card. Izzy. Where are you going to be? So the location farthest from me, I believe, is the Devil's Hop Yard. Because from the 10-acre meadow, I can get to the Blasted Heath, the Watley Ruins, the Cold Spring Glen, and the Dunwich Village, but I cannot get to the Devil's Hop Yard. So that's where Izzy is? I don't know. But that's the turn. And so, new round, 2 of 5, and encounter. Put Frozen in Fear into play in your threat area. The first time you perform one of the following actions, move, fight, or evade. Each round, it costs 1 additional action. At the end of your turn, test Will 3. And if I succeed, I can discard Frozen in Fear. Alright. So, I'm actually going to move into Watley Ruins. Actually, hold on. If I want to get rid of this as soon as possible, which I do, I'm going to play Zebulon Watley here. Now, Zebulon Watley gives me an extra will, so now I have will 4. And then I'll move into the Watley Ruins. That'll be all 3 of my actions. It was as though a house, launched by an avalanche, had slid down through the tangled growths of the almost vertical slope. Each investigator in Watley Ruins gets -1 will. Fantastic. As an incidental, you hurl a nearby canister of paint at the monster. An investigator in Watley Ruins may place up to 3 his or her clues on an abomination enemy in Watley Ruins. Group limit once per game, yet again. So 2 clues per investigator. 1, 2. And, well, that's it for my turn. However, it doesn't cost me an action to use these clues and to figure out what's going on here. So, Scenic Script. Check the campaign log. If Dr. Armitage survived the Dunwich legacy, he totally did. There. Armitage sighs a breath of relief, jotting down the last phrases of the formula. I have translated the last of it. He shudders as he hands you the script, the words conjuring forth memories of his battle with the creature. I hope this is the last time I'll have to read it, he admits. But if we do nothing, the end result will be much, much worse. Each investigator puts into play 1 set-aside esoteric formula. And the esoteric formula is this. It is a spell, and as an action you can fight. This attack uses will instead of might, and you get +2 will for the attack for each clue on the attacked enemy. Use this ability only on an abomination enemy. Interesting. Alright, so now I have my method of dealing with the creature. Now I just have to actually get to him, put clues on him, and somehow deal with him. So first I need to get clues. There's a lot of stuff I need to do now. Wow. This does change almost everything. Alright. And now, they must be destroyed. With the formula in hand, you finally have the means to destroy the creatures wreaking havoc in Dunwich. But only if you can survive long enough. Objective: defeat as many broods of Yogg-Sothoth enemies as you can. If there are no copies of Brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy in play or set aside, advance. And that's it. So I just have to kill these things. And right now I only have to deal with the one. So I'll try to deal with that guy as quickly as possible. But for now, that's the end of my turn. And I will test for Frozen in Fear. And now I'll use Unexpected Courage. That brings me to 3, 4, 5, 6. This reduces me back to 1. It's 5 versus 3. And that's it. And we got a cult. Reveal another token. If you fail this test, take 1 horror. Very well. -2. What was that? The 3, 4, 5, 6, -1, 5, 3, pass. Which is great because this is honestly a terrible thing to have. It ruins your action economy. It is then the enemy phase. You are not a hunter, but we'll see where you go. 2. So you're going towards this location. But how you get there is up to me. Well, no, it's the fastest way. So this would have to be the fastest way to that. Through the blasted heath. And then it's the upkeep. I'll get my resources and get a card. Choose and discard all but 1 card from my hand. That is the worst, because I have a lot of good cards here. Well, actually no. Vicious Blow and Overpower are kind of useless to me right now, and that's not all that helpful either, so I'll keep Unexpected Courage. Well, that's 2 of my weaknesses down. So we start a new round with 3 of 5, and test. Will 3. For each point you fail, take 1 horror. So I'm at 3, 4, -1, back to 3. So it's 3 versus 3. Let's see what we got. Skull. -1 for each brood in play. And there's only 1. So I'll take 1 horror, but I get to assign this to whomever I want. And Zebulon, do me a solid. Actually, no. You know what? Rice, do me a solid and you take it from me. The Watley here will probably be more useful to me in this scenario. Alright, so now I need to start getting clues. Now I can get 2 here, but now it becomes an issue. See, this says I can take 1 of my clues. This one says up to 3 of my clues. 1. So there's actually a limited way for me to get those clues onto those broods, and they have to be in the same location as me. Man, this feels really random. But I'll move into the 10-acre meadow, and I'll attempt to investigate it twice. So for the first investigation, I have 4 versus 2, and I'll just stick with that. And I get the outer side, which gives me like +4. So that means that is 1 successful investigation. And I'll try it again. 4 versus 2. And occultist means I have to redraw. Come on now. Cultist again. Let's try that again. -1. And that's a pass. So I'll take the last clue, which means I get to exhaust Warren Rice. And actually, Zebulon, when do you let me draw a card? After I succeed at a treachery. Well, I failed the other one. That's fine. I won't draw the extra one. Lady Esprit. Cool. Not useful right now. I have my 2 allies, so I can't really use you right now. But I guess I'm good here. End of my turn. And on to the enemy phase. Where are you going, Brood? Please go to 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a 4. I need a 4 or 5, 6. So 4 up. Come on now. Yes! So that means 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to my location. But as you enter my location, I take 1 horror. And, Professor? No. Watley, you'll take it this time. I don't know if there's any take instant damage cards out there. So I don't want to put Warren Rice too close to death just yet. But now you're at my location. This is fantastic. As long as my encounter here is not something terrible. Put dissonant voices in the playing your threat area. You cannot play assets or events. And at the end of the round, discard it. Now that's fine. I wasn't going to play assets or events, but you know what? I forgot my upkeep. That's fine. I'll draw that. And cool. So, how do I get clues onto you? I think... Let me see how this works. Blah, blah, blah. I can place 1 clue on you from this. So only the 1. Now that doesn't cost me an action, so I'll just place the 1. And then, how does this work? It's +2 for each clue. Okay, so that's already +2. And if it's a fight, I'm trying to beat 6. I've got 3, I've got 4, I've got 5, 6. So it means if I had at least 2 more clues, I would be golden. But then again, I have this powder. But you need to be exhausted first. This is an interesting predicament. Here, okay, hold on. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fight. Hold on. Dang, this is interesting. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight using the esoteric formula. Using will. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 6. And then I'll make it 7, 8 versus 6. And then 9, 10 versus 6 because I don't want to mess this up. -4. Wow, that is... I'm not rigging this, I swear. I swear. But that's 1 damage. That was my first action. My second action. Now, this says I cannot play assets or events. I can still use them. So, I will use Pantalone. Because I'm going to fight again. It's going to be using will, but by using Pantalone, this is the first time I've ever used Pantalone this way. After you initiate a non-will, or a non-lore test, discard Pantalone and use lore for the test instead of the skill you're supposed to be using. So instead of using will, I'll use lore. So my lore is 4 versus 6, and then I can make it 6 versus 6, and then I can make it, thanks to Streetwise, I can make it 9 versus 6. And that's good. -1 is a successful skill. Now you are dead. I'm assuming this clue goes away. That goes away. You are a victory point to me. Thanks to perception, I'll draw a card. I don't need you. Do I? No, I don't think I need you. And then I still have 1 action left. and I will go... We'll see what's at the Cold Spring Glen. God, he gasped. I told him not to go down to the glen, and I never thought nobody'd do it with them tracks, and that smell, and the whippoorwills are screeching down in the dark old noonday. Each enemy in Cold Spring Glen gets -1 evade. As an incidental, you lure the creature into the dense tree cover and it becomes tangled. Investigators in Cold Spring Glen may, as a crew, place up to 2 of their clues and abomination on Cold Spring Glen. Blah, blah, blah. Seems that they all do this. So I really wonder what the variants are. But okay, 2 clues. That's Shroud 3. That's my turn, right? At the end of the round, that's it. Enemy phase, there are none. Upkeep. I get my money and draw a card. Lone Wolf. This will just give me infinite money. Cool. That's it for me. And this will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And advance. An old pickup truck rolls to a stop along the way that trails Dunwich. The driver, Joe Osborne, calls out to you through a shattered driver's side window, the truck's engine still running. "It's over at the Eric's farm," he shouts. "Done blasted their place apart. Poor Henry and Martha." You ask Osborne for the location of Eric's homestead, and it confirms your worst fear. For that attack to have occurred recently, there must be more of the monsters on the loose. Shuffle the encounter and discard pile into the encounter deck. And then spawn 1 set-aside brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy at a random location if able. The random location will be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At the Watley Ruins. How appropriate. Biding its time. Once in a while, a wind sweeping up out of Cold Spring Glen will bring a touch of ineffable photor to the heavy night air. But the looked-for terror did not appear. Whatever was down there in the glen was biding its time, and Armitage told his colleagues it would be suicidal to try and attack it in the dark. At the end of the enemy phase, move each brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy once toward a random location. Second verse, same as the first. But I still have to draw an encounter. If there are no investigators at the same location as a brood, this gains surge. Okay. Avian Thrall. Looks like a giant vulture. Prey. Lowest. Lower. That doesn't matter. It's a hunter. Wow, it's a strong hunter. While Avian Thrall is being attacked using a ranged firearm or spell asset, it gets -3 fight. So this thing's just engaged with me. Actually, this should have been shuffled into that. Yeah, you know what? We'll do that again. This should have been shuffled in there. That feels disingenuous, but we gotta do it right. Now we draw. And wow, if it's the same thing again, I'll be mad. Okay. Creature's tracks. Peril. You must either choose one, take 2 horror, or spawn a set-aside brood Yogg-Sothoth at a random location. Wow, okay, I'll take 2 horror, but I can actually choose how they get split. So I'll put 1 on Watley and 1 on Rice. I could probably take out the other brood, but I want more time. Because if there are strong creatures like the Avian Thrall in here, I can't deal with that while I'm also trying to deal with the brood. So now it's my turn, and I need more clues. Or actually, do I need more clues? I don't think I do. Because what I need... Actually, At some point I will need more clues. But I do have this powder if I can just exhaust that brood. But for the best action economy, I'll probably just want to take the ones that are here. If I can. So for one action, I'll play Lone Wolf. And when my turn begins, if there's nobody else here, which there never will be because I'm playing by myself, I will get to gain a resource. So I'll be mad rich. Which is great because it'll let me activate abilities like Streetwise as much as I want. So I will investigate this location. I'll spend 3 resources while I'm doing it to activate. Actually, no, it's not 3 resources. It's only 2 resources, which means I should still have 1 more. Because I think when I used it the first time, I took 3. So now I'm only going to spend 1. There you go. This gives me plus 3 lore, plus 1, that's 4, plus 3, 7 versus 3. Minus 2, 5 versus 3, I am successful. Which means, you know what, I'll do it again. Because I thought this required 3 resources, but no, it only requires 2. 7 versus 3. Minus 1, I'm successful once again. Taking that clue for myself, activating War and Rice, drawing a card, flashlight. I don't really need you at this point. I'm pretty good. Ending my turn. So, Brood, where are you going at the end of the enemy phase? I want you to come to me. Maybe. Probably. Yeah, I'm okay if you come to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. So 3 or 5. Come on. Yes! So it's trying to go to the Dunwich village. I decide how it does that via the shortest path available. So that means it can go in one of these 2 directions. I want it to go to this direction because that's still the shortest path to the Dunwich village. Bing bang boom, here you are with me. Upkeep phase, get my resources, draw my card, fire axe, I don't really need you. Mythos and encounter. Attach Sordred and Silent to your location. At the end of a round, each investigator at the location takes 1 horror. When the agenda advances, discard Sordred and Silent. Okay. Don't know how that's going to affect anything right now. But it's my turn. At the start of my turn, I'll lone wolf and just get free money. Then I will try to evade this brood. The question becomes, do I want to add anything to it? And sure, why not? Let's guarantee this. Because I have 3, I'll get plus 3 for 6. Brood is 3, but you get minus 1 evade. So it's 6 versus 2. Actually, wait. Why am I evading you? Wait. Is it incidental? I can place up to 2 of my clues onto you. Boom, boom. If I were to fight you now, that is 2, 4, 7, 8 versus 6. Not great odds. I would feel a lot better if I could add another clue to that. So yeah, I guess I'll evade you so that I can use my powder and then hopefully be able to deal with you. So that makes it, what was it? 3, 6 versus 2. Cultists. Alright, come on now. Minus 3. 3 versus 2. We are good. The brood is exhausted. That is my first action. And thanks to the powder, I can put 1 on you. And then I'll try and fight you. Twice. So that's 2 for 6. Plus 3 for 9. Plus 1 for 10. Versus 6. Minus 1. is 1 damage. Let's do that again. For instant failure. Awesome. That's okay though. We totally got this. End of my turn. That's at the end of the round. I'll still take a horror. That's fine. So, you know, I'll just... I'll take it myself. I'm not going to, again, push these guys to the brink of death just yet. Actually, no, forget that. Watley, you take that for me. Enemy phase. Nothing happens. Because you're exhausted. Upkeep. I'll take my 2 resources and draw a card. Gain 3 more resources. Because that's what I need right now. Upkeep, you're good. And that's the end of the round. Top of the Mythos. 1 and draw. Flip. The Avian Thrall. I think we'll be okay. So now that thing is here. That did not take very long at all. Okay. My turn. Start of my turn, I'll get resources. Whatever. I will fight the Brood. That's 10, right? 2, 4, 6, 7, 10 versus 6. -3. That is going to be a pass. So the Brood is dead. Fantastic. That's 2 of 3 down. This is easy. Easy, easy. Get out of here. That's 2 victory points right there. Okay, but now I have this to deal with. I could evade him. Or should... Yeah, I can evade him. That was my first action. My second action is to evade. That's going to be 3, 6 versus 3. -3. Man, I am cutting it way too close. You're evaded. Actually, no, it's minus, because each enemy is -1. So actually passed by 1. So that's great. You're evaded. And I'll get the hell out of here. I'll move to the Dunwich village. Or should I? I should move. I also want to get rid of this. Yeah, I'll go back to the Watley Ruins. Because I want to get rid of this. And I also want to be here for when the next Brood arrives. So that I can put a free clue on it. Because I have 1 clue still. And I have 2 here. If I can get 3 on it for another 10 versus 6, that would be fantastic. But I think this is a more pressing matter. Because if the game ends and this is still here, that's another stupid mental trauma that I don't need. But okay. Enemy phase. You're exhausted. Upkeep. Get my resources. Draw my card. Nice. And then, new round. 1 and 2. Cannot play assets or events. That's okay. Start of my turn, Lone Wolf. I'm just drowning in money. Now, do I want to get the resource? No, I don't. Forget that. Oh, but I have to succeed in investigation. That's fine. I'll move here. Searching for Izzy. At the Devil's Hop Yard. Still, others try to explain the Devil's Hop Yard. A bleak, blasted hillside where no tree, shrub, or grass blade will grow. As an incidental, you lure the creature here. Investigator may place up to 2 his or her clues at the Devil's Hop Yard abomination. Cool. And 1 shroud. Wow, this is easy peasy. So that was 1 action. 2 of my actions is to investigate, which means I'm gonna just throw away this. Actually, I don't even need to, because that's 4 versus 1. Yeah, whatever. I'll make it 5 versus 1. Boom. Yes, still pass. And then this says, investigate. If I succeed, instead of discovering clues, discard this. Awesome. I think that's the first time I've ever done that. So, it's quite the Christmas miracle. And that ends my turn, yeah? At the end of the round, this would discard. You are now hunting me. Which way are you going to hunt me? This would have to be the fastest way, because going this way is 1, 2, 3, and this is just 1, 2. So, avian throw. On the run. And then it's the upkeep. Money, money. And draw. Whoa, calm down there. Fast pace, draw, take 1 horn. Alright, interesting. And this goes away. New round says 4 of 6 and encounter. Peril. Attached to a brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy in play. If that enemy is at your location, take 1 damage. Attached enemy gets +1 fight and +1 health. There are no broods. And this doesn't say surge, so I guess that's it. Okay. That's probably the best it could have gone. Okay, my turn. Start of my turn, I get money. And then I will play... Oh, you're gonna hit me. You're gonna hit me for free. Because it's gonna hunt and then hit me. Hit me for 1/1. And I want to kill that thing. How many bullets will I need? I'm gonna play my twin 45s. And put 6 bullets in the chamber. More than enough shots to kill anything that moves. Then I'll move into the Watley Ruins, and so he engages me, and then I'll attempt to evade him. So it'll be my 3 versus its 3. Using Streetwise, it's going to be 6 versus 3. Cultist symbol, come on. -2, I will pass, and you will be evaded at my location, which you're just going to rejoin me, but at least you don't hit me. End of my turn. Nothing happens here. Then it's the upkeep, so I'll get 2 resources and a card. Backstab. This attack uses... Fantastic. Top of the Mythos. 5 of 6 and... Test. Will 3. And I have Will 4. I'm at the Watley Ruins, so I'm at 3 again. You know what? I want to pass this, so I'll use Guts. And there's a reason why I'm doing this. 1, if I pass with Guts, I get to draw a card. And 2, I get to draw another card thanks to Zebulon Watley here. So, it's in my best interest to pass. So I have 4, 6 versus 3. -3. So I pass. I get to draw a card thanks to Guts. And then I get to exhaust Watley and draw another card. And now it is my turn. I'll get money and shoot at this avian thrall. So it's +2, well, no, fight. 5 fight versus 5. But when I use a firearm, you get -3. So it's 2 versus 5. So I should pass this on average. And I pass, because that's +4, and I'm doing 2 damage to it. 1 for standard, and 1 thanks to my twin 45s. And I'll shoot it again with the same result, or the same math rather. It's 5 versus 2. You know what? I'll even throw away this fire axe, because that's how confident I am. 5 versus 2. 6 versus 2. Skull, -1 for each brood in play. There are no broods, so you are dead. Hopefully that's the worst that I have to deal with here. So you know what? I'm actually in a pretty good spot. I can investigate this location. That was 2 of my actions. So to investigate, I'll have 4 versus 3, but I have this to make it 5 versus 3. And then I have this to make it 5, 6, 7, 8 versus 3, which is overkill. But if I'm successful, I'll take an additional clue, thanks to deduction. And with -1, that means both these clues are mine. And then because I took the last clue off of a location, Rice gets me another card. And that's my turn. No enemies. So it's the upkeep. 2 resources and a card. Another flashlight. Don't need it. Then that advances. And when this advances, this goes away, yeah? Yep. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Okay, let me just make sure I don't have any extra cards here. Nope. Alright. That shuffled. These guys unexhaust. If there is a set-aside brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy, the lead investigator reads the following out loud. Bleak storm clouds churn overhead and a blanket of rain pelts the countryside. As the downpour grows in intensity, you take refuge in a half-ruined shack nearby. There's a flash of lightning, and in the brief illumination you spot the outline of something large in the rain. Without warning, the distant trees bend, though nothing seems to be bending them. Moments later, a force with the strength of a truck crashes into your refuge. Spawn 1 set-aside brood of Yogg-Sothoth enemy at the lead investigator's location, if able. Then, each investigator at that location tests Agility 4. The newly spawned brood of Yogg-Sothoth makes an attack against each investigator who fails this test. Well then, at the Watley Ruins, I have to beat Agility 4. I'm pretty confident I can do that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 4. Yes, I pass. I was about to freak out there. So nothing happens? Yeah, I guess. And then I draw. Peril, you must either spawn a set-aside brood of Yogg-Sothoth at a random location or take 2 horror. Now, obviously, reading this just straight as it is, I would spawn the brood. But I'm not actually able to spawn a set-aside brood because there is none to pick from. Because this is the last brood. There's 2 more that come in this scenario, but they only get introduced if you let more people die. So obviously I can't actually pick that, so I think I have to pick the 2 horror. And I think that's how it's written in the rules, that if you can't make a choice between a certain number of choices, you have to pick the one you can choose. So taking 2 horror means either I'm taking them both myself or one of these guys is dying. Or they both could die. I actually kind of want to kill Rice, but I can take the 2 myself. It's no big deal. So, yay! Alright, so how do I deal with the brood? Because now it is my turn. I gain money. So, brood. Spell. Clues. Clues! I can place up to 3 of my clues. And I didn't use this one. I used this one and this one. I didn't even use this one, nor did I use this one, because this is once per game. Right? I'm not cheating. Alright? Hopefully. I really hope I'm not. Because, you know, off topic a bit here. I love this game. This game is awesome. I think it's a really cool card game. And this is the kind of game that I would love to just... It has so much replay value with all the cards you can make and the decks you build. I love card games because I like making a whole bunch of different kinds of decks. Problem though is, for this video series at least, I want to do these completely blind. So sometimes it's the case that, you know, because I'm seeing these cards for the first time, I forget something. Because I don't remember everything. And then I make a mistake and then I feel like, you know, I didn't get the genuine experience out of that scenario because I flubbed it. So I really hope I'm not missing anything here. But okay. Right? You don't need to be exhausted. I just put 2 clues on you. And then I can just kill you here. I can just kill you. So, let's do that. Oh, but I get -1 here. That's fine. Because it's 3, 4, no, it's just 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll make it 10, 11 versus 6. With the elder sign, that's major overkill. Boom, and then I'll do it again, discarding this, making that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 versus 6. Wow, that comes at the worst time. But I can still do this. Right? Yes. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's still 9 versus 6. Yeah, I should be able to do this. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. -1 for each brood. There's only the one, baby. You're dead. Damn it. You're dead. Right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 6, damage, dead. That was not hard. That was not hard at all. Defeat as many broods as you can. If there are no copies, advance. Actually, I didn't even read this, did I? I always see, that's the problem. I always forget something. It was no joke tracking down something as big as a house that no one can see, but had all the vicious malevolence of a demon. Each abomination gets +1 fight and +1 evade. Okay, hold on. No, I got the outer sign with the first one, that's fine. Instant fail with the second one. So that means it has +1 fight, which means it's 7 versus 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, 7. I still win. Okay, good. Whew. And at the end of the movement phase, or at the end of the enemy phase, it would have moved. Fantastic. As you complete the incantation, the foul creature cries out with a raucous, inhuman voice. It rumbles and cracks, the syllables of its croaking far from English. As its cry plays out, the creature shrinks upon itself, and then, with little warning, it is gone. All that remains is a foul stench and a repulsive mark that mars the vegetation where the beast once stood. Resolution 2. After slaying what seems to be the last of the rampaging monsters, you retreat to Zebulon's home, exhausted and rattled by your experience. In your campaign log, record that no brood escaped into the wild. If an investigator's deck contains the powder of Benghazi, remove it from the investigator's deck. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory value of each card in the display. So that's 3 for me, and that's it. The story continues in the next Mythos pack of the Dunwich Legacy Cycle, where doom awaits. And that's all for today. We'll see what happens in the next scenario where doom awaits. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this playthrough, consider liking and subscribing to see more. But that's all for now, and let's keep on rolling.